Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good day. My name's Kate, and what's in the garden today is this huge, enormous leaf haul. I've got my work clothes on today because this is going to be messy, so I'll gather a few supplies and then we can get shoveling. I'm going to pile the leaves up in the garden bed next to the compost. I cleared some space and smoothed the spot out a bit. I brought out a big roll of plastic mesh that we had sitting in the basement and some garden stakes too. I set up the mesh in a semicircle with a couple of the stakes. I've already got a blister from shoveling the leaves into the truck, so remember to take off your rings or wear gloves. Now we'll get started with the leaves. This is pretty much a full truckload of leaves that I need to move. I'm lucky enough to get these from people who don't want them in our local community. It's a mix of all sorts of deciduous tree leaves. Leaves are a great resource in the garden. You can use them in all sorts of ways. If they're smaller leaves and not too many, you can just leave them in place where they fall to decompose, or collect them up for other uses. You can use them right away in the fall as mulch for ornamental garden beds or in vegetable gardens. They'll protect the soil over winter and add nutrition as they decompose in place. If you're more patient, you can pile them all up together to make leaf mold, which is great stuff, but it takes quite a while to decompose, usually 1 to 2 years. You can make the process faster by using new fallen leaves, which have more nitrogen, and by using thinner leaves like maple instead of oak. You can even shred the leaves into smaller pieces. Alternatively, they can be composted. The difference between leaf mold and compost is how the material breaks down. If you pile up only leaves, you'll have a pile of carbon-rich material without much nitrogen. This is essentially cold composting. The decomposition will be done by fungi, who are able to break down fibrous carbon material. This is how you make leaf mold. Alternatively, you could combine leaves with some grass clippings or other high nitrogen material. This would be hot composting, and you'll get bacterial decomposition, which creates a lot of heat while it's working. It's much faster, but bacteria isn't so good at breaking down the fibrous carbon of the leaves, and cold composting fungi can't handle the heat. So each method has its advantages, but you can't do both at the same time. On the other hand, you could do them both not at the same time. You could hot compost first and then let it sit cold. This might help some of the woodier parts break down more. I suppose this is kind of what happens when you spread compost on your beds though. You're just allowing the cold composting to happen in its final location. In any case, my plan for these leaves is to save them for spring. As temperatures warm up in spring, I always end up with a huge glut of grass clippings and not enough browns to mix them with, and it ends up being a huge stinky mess. So, as we add the grass clippings to the compost, we can add in the leaves to get a much better balance of greens and browns. Today, I've been wondering if I have too many leaves, but it'll settle over the winter, and in April, I might think I don't have enough. Either way, I know I want to plant into this bed next summer, so these leaves will have to move one way or another. In the meantime, they'll be breaking down slowly and hopefully releasing a bit of nutrition into this garden bed. This is way more leaves than I thought I was going to get. I think it looks bigger in real life than it does on camera. It's got to be about 4 feet wide and tall. This was a lot of work to shovel, but for now, thanks, and I'll see you next time.